As we know on this channel, I watch so much analog horror. Originated with the Walton Files, my whole channel is basically surrounded about internet horror such as the Walton Files and so much other horror series like that on YouTube. However, there's been so many series over the last couple of years that have come out while I've done this channel that I've wanted to cover, and this channel in specifics I have reacted to in the past and made videos on. However, I wanted to do a full deep dive analysis on this video because I absolutely love this series so much, and I think the creator is so talented. Along with this series actually being unique, it is nice to have a bit of fresh air into this analog horror space on YouTube. And as you know by the title and thumbnail, this video of course is delving into one of the best series on YouTube called Dog Nightmares, made by PiggySoda. Now before we begin, I will leave all the links to Dog Nightmares and PiggySoda's channels in the description along with their Twitter, so make sure to go check them out and support them, because if you have not seen this series, I would highly recommend going to watch it first before I completely dive in and analyze this series, considering I don't want you to be spoiled at any point in this episode, because quite frankly this episode and these series in general is absolutely amazing, and I'd love to see you guys' reaction to it on first hand. So go check out the series first and then come back, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Of course, if you have seen it. Without further ado, let's get straight into the analysis. If you do enjoy this type of video, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're really close to 4.2k subs, so if you could help us hit there in any way, shape or form, I'd very much appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get straight into the analysis. Now the first video is quite interesting, as we do begin with watching an old VHS kind of a TV show. Now this is an actual TV show about how people would actually have face of dogs as their actual heads, along with just human hands and stuff like that. Really uncanny in my opinion. Now for me, I think this is really interesting because we also see someone watching the tape with a very invisible card, almost like a portfolio card. However, as the video slowly goes on, and this is a very short video, it is very intriguing because these little short episodes before the original episode 1, which blew up this series, is really interesting, because for me it really delves into some of the creepy aspects of this series, and considering that there is a lot of uncanniness about this series. Not only the fact that it is people with dog heads is pretty uncanny in general, but the fact that when you actually see some of this that's going on here, exactly this scene right here, it can be extremely uncanny. As when this dude slowly puts the portfolio card up to the TV, this happens. As we see a dog face with human eyes looking back at the screen for a split second before it returns to the normal TV show as the video comes to a close. Now this is a really ominous and confusing episode 1. Now this is not technically an episode 1 because it's very interesting. This series is divided into an actual episodic series, while there's some episodes where about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, some even 30 seconds of just simple clips of what could lead into some of the series, because some of these episodes are about 30 seconds do actually come back in the 15-minute long episode 1. Now we're still waiting on episode 2 of this series, which I'm really excited about, so make sure to subscribe to PiggySoda for that, because I cannot wait for that episode to come out. But in the introduction episodes of this series, it is really ominous, and I love how it just slowly hints at what could be coming down in the future of the series. As not only do we continue in the next episode with this ominous way of these kind of almost still images creating an atmosphere, is exactly what this next video shows as we get into the episode 2 of Childhood Dreams, as we just go through a simple slideshow of photos, just kind of creating an ambience of like every photo that's been shown is almost being drawn by a little kid, almost creating someone's imagination, and some of the photos aren't as accurate with the drawing, so it kind of shows a child's perspective of what they're seeing in these photos. And I think that's really cool, considering this series as a whole really does play on the whole mind factor of what someone sees, because there's some elements of this series where some people will see a certain thing but others will see something else, and I really think that's unique and really clever. As this slideshow slowly goes on, as we eventually get some family photos, until eventually a photo of a girl in the hallway pops up, and if you look closely to the left of the screen, you see a dog human staring back at you. Now the fact that that is so creepy, because every other photo does not show someone as a dog head there, and that, as we know, if you can see the photos, it is a human family there. So the fact that there's a person from the TV show with a dog head and human body completely adds to the uncanniness of the universe we're set in right now. The fact that every photo you see is somewhat normal, yes, it can be uncanny and kind of uncomfortable depending on what goes through your mind when you see it, but this photo solidifies that these photos and this family family are in a serious threat of danger. As not only do we then cut to real life footage of a drawing of a certain dog person standing outside the window, and if you have seen the series, you know this specific picture shows up very, very soon. As in the next video, it is a short and sweet episode as we just see the TV show continue until it cuts away to show a missing dog. Now this does build up the confusion and kind of questioning part of this series as well, because we're kind of questioning of how are these dog people going to come into play, because it's very clearly suggesting that this dog person that's in the drawing specifically and in the photo, it does specify that this person and kind of lean towards that these people, whatever they may be, are a serious threat. We eventually dive into my new best friend. As video 1 begins with again this dog TV show, we get a sort of introduction to the original episodes that came out before it, such as The Dog Show and Childhood Dreams. Now this is a really good introduction to the first episode, because for those who hadn't seen the rest of the series, considering this episode blew up at the time, it is nice to establish a little bit of introduction to the series. As again we see the missing dog poster, we see that being put on the tree to kind of hint towards what might going down in the rest of this episode. To eventually we see a couple notes about this dog. Now obviously it's supposed to be from the owner of the dog that went missing, of course, called Bailey, as eventually we continue on seeing many notes giving us a lot of exposition. However, we eventually cut to real life footage about someone going through their camera about what they got. Now, according to this, it seems like this person might be sick or somewhere, because they get a card saying get well soon, but interesting enough, this card also has a person with a dog head on it. Really nice touch in my opinion. And I think the way this sort of, gives some exposition of what might going on is really cool. To eventually, they end up getting one of the TV show VHS tapes that we've been seeing. And I think that's really cool, because not only does that add to the tension of what could be going down, but also adds to how this person might be the original character who is watching the tapes of the show in that original episode, when we eventually get that photo of the dog with the human eyes. And I think that is just really cool in my opinion. As eventually they bring out their photo book, and it's again those old photos of the family. So this is establishing that this family that were in those videos, this is the person, I'm assuming the child, all grown up. Now it's really cool when you piece all these pieces together. However, we do get a really horrifying image after this of presumably the Bailey dog after he went missing, as the face does not look normal whatsoever, and it just looks really uncanny and also just really creepy in my opinion. As the video eventually goes on, we get more photos and we get introduced to a kids show. This is sort of like a child narrating over their new best friend, as they have been told to stay at home while their mom has gone to work. Now this is really interesting, because on many of these photos you can see drawing, specifically the mommy has left me photo, we can see on the staircase there is a pair of legs. Now this is really creepy, establishing that someone is already in the house, and that to me is just really creepy. And the fact that we eventually go on in this photo to eventually get real life footage of this girl going through her house, eventually going past this black hole on the way up to her stairs, so assuming up the stairs towards her bedroom, to where eventually she hears a noise. As eventually we get real life footage of this person going, and we see this in the hole in the wall, to where it is established that this is the new best friend as the video comes to a close. Now, with this being the official opening to the series, I find this such an amazing opening, and the fact that this is so creepy, has so much lore, and has so much exposition that's all written there for you, it is a really good storytelling aspects as well, because the fact that it also creeps you out and has really good animation. I mean, that actual animation for the dog human is super uncanny and super creepy to me. I think the fact that in general it's super uncanny, it's super creepy, and I just love how it looks. I mean, for me in general, I just think this is a really good animation style as well, and the fact that it has good storytelling just tops it all off. And the fact that that's the first episode only, we have so many episodes to come, I'm assuming it is so cool, and I cannot wait to see where the series goes on from here. As simply the next episode just involves a painting a photo of a presumed dog, as eventually it cuts away as we see a close-up of this painting. Now, it's very interesting the fact that this episode is very uncanny, and ultimately in the full kind of range of the series, it's kind of confusing. However, when you look at it from a different perspective, not only does this painting show up in a future teaser, but also the fact that this checkered shirt appears once again, and the fact that all the dogs in this series that are humans as well seem to be wearing that same sort of checkered pattern. I mean, the dog human dude was wearing like a red and black pattern as well, so the fact that that kind of checkered sweatshirt appears again but in painting form is really interesting to me, as the next video includes a by far the more storytelling, and also it kind of feels like an episode 2, as eventually we see a person in the woods and he seems to holding this sort of Polaroid photo once again, and another use of the Polaroid. However, we get some more exposition through photos and little text messages here and there to where we eventually cut to a real life footage of a person in a house, and not only what appears once again is that painting from the previous episode, so this assumed that this is the actual person in the house. However, as it goes on, it starts to build and build tension, because it then is assumed that they are not alone in the house as we hear this. We seem to hear a sort of dog barking from the darkness, as eventually we go to the darkness and we get a simple piece of text written on a piece of paper. As eventually that photo shows up of the Bailey, the missing dog, seems to be a more mutilated way. And the fact that that is what the series is kind of leaning towards, that dogs are going missing, could it be leaning to people experimenting on dogs and turning them into humans? Is that what's going to happen to this Bailey? Is that what's happening? And to me, I feel like that's so twisted, and the fact that that could be the possibility of what's going down in this series is so twisted, so dark, and ultimately really disturbing as well for people who like dogs like myself. That's super disturbing, dude, and the fact that that could be a possibility is super scary to me. To now where we lead into the two most recent videos. Now, these two videos are very much just teasers, as the first video is very much just very similar to one of the earliest videos of just Polaroids. Polaroids being shown of the family yet again, kind of hinting towards the fans of this series going, okay, here's another teaser. Chapter 2 is coming soon, and I love that. The last video is literally 15 seconds long. However, it is really interesting because in the first video for, the actual episode 1, we see that dog in the checkered pattern standing at the window. However, in this most recent teaser that came out a month ago, it is now this sort of Bailey dog now standing at the front door and the window. Now, to me, is that kind of hinting towards that this Bailey dog that eventually went missing is now a dog person? It very much leans to think that that's what's going to go down. And the fact that that's the most recent video coming out and it's only 15 seconds long and it's simply just a dog staring in a window directly at the camera is really creepy to me. And in my opinion, this series in general, that's all we've gotten so far. I'm assuming episode 2 will probably come out next year, hopefully, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what is the future of this series, because I absolutely love this series. It's by far the most underrated out there on YouTube, in my opinion. I think that and, White Stag Education are by far my two most underrated analog horrors out there, and the fact that this is such an interesting one, it's so unique. It's like no one would have thought dogs being in a horror series as the main antagonist or protagonist would be this scary, and to me, Dog Nightmares absolutely nails it. Now, before I do the outro, I do also want to say I have a quick message from another YouTuber called Green Man Sam. Now, me and Sam have been working on 2 dual videos of Dog Nightmares, so if you want to go check out Sam's video, here's a little message from him. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description as well, so when that video eventually does drop on his channel, you can go and check it out. Make sure you go check it out, but ultimately I'm going to leave you over to Sam for this quick little message.
Hello, hi, hello, hi, hello, hi. It's me, Green Man Sam, from the Green Man Sam YouTube channel. I just want to say, enjoy this video and go check out my video afterwards if you want to see my, my little perspective on the series. I talk about what I think the series really means. I got some wacky, silly, goofy crazy theories in there. So yeah, you should go check it out.
Cheers, Sam. Appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button down below. And of course, all the links to PiggySoda's socials will be in the description below, with the Dog Nightmares channel along with their Twitter. Go support them. They absolutely deserve it. They are such an awesome channel. But that's going to be the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll check you in the next one. If you did enjoy, of course, hit that subscribe button. We are inching closer and closer to 4.2k subs, so I'd really appreciate if you could help us get there. Thank you all so much for watching. I will check you in the next video. And of course, stay safe and peace. First shot of this episode. Tammy picks this house.
Oh, what about that one?
Now, if you ask me, that is the, worst house you can pick. It has wallpaper on the outside.